Double dates and meeting the neighbors. What could go wrong? As it turns out, a dinner party is perfect at exposing faults of class, marriage, and repression. Both films are obsessed with the home, the decor, the alcohol, and the platters. The home becomes a statement, a reflection, a distraction. Beverly's home captures the anxieties and trends of 1970s Britain, straight out of a Habitat catalogue, reflecting the new middle class. Dinner parties are becoming popular. It's a trendy new way of solidifying your place in the social hierarchy. This emerging middle class wants to sell you suburban success. The displays are trying to prove sophistication, from the art on the wall to the Shakespeare collection and the vinyls. The tragic comedy stems not only from the desperation that these items echo, but also due to the fact that the couples disagree on just about everything. The party becomes an attempt to convince everyone, including themselves, that they have made it. They have built their own middle-class paradise, engulfed in stability and prosperity. Here, the dynamic is somewhat shifted. Angela's and Joe's home looks effortlessly luxurious and spacious, defined by expensive art and other interior design choices. The anxiety lies in the facade of it all. The luxury of their home is a constant reminder of a life they can't afford on their own. The house is inherited, a source of shame for Joe. It reflects the situation of thousands of young couples today who struggle to own. They can only dream of securing a house. People nowadays rely on inheritance or choose to live with their parents for a prolonged amount of time. In the invite, the couple is aware that the aesthetics of their home are not actually a true reflection of financial nor emotional security. And thus, the films echo how the middle class in two different time periods is fighting to maintain illusions it cannot actually support. The couples are experiencing a loss of connection. They are feeling neglected, underappreciated, and dissatisfied with each other. Their lack of communication is making things worse. Both seek attention from the opposite couple, whether in the form of a dance, whether via conversation, or even something more intimate. Frustration was built over the years and is projecting into every interaction and every conversation. Beverly is aggressively nosy. Angela is obsessing over the house's appearance. They take their responsibility as hosts very seriously, while being physically and emotionally trapped in the home they've worked so hard into making welcoming. The repression is manifesting through performance and distractions. Even in a post-sexual liberation era, desires are still unfulfilled. Marriages are still stuck. The films mention the characters' jobs, the jobs they left behind, their sacrifices, and what was never accomplished. They've all become shadows of their past selves. The underlying issue here is regret, the kind of regret that lives in the walls of your home, the kind of regret that you go to sleep with every night. Unhappiness in the marriage is also an unhappiness with the self. It could stem from a stagnant job, ambitions that were put to sleep, marrying the wrong person, or marrying too early. Regret is asphyxiating and a source of shame. It's where the titles of the film perfectly accompany these themes. Abigail's party is a satirical reference to the teenage party that is happening in parallel to the awkward hell that has been created. A reminder of the adult's lost youth. A party where alcohol is used to amplify excitement, not to drown the unhappiness. A party where music is used for dancing and havoc, not as a distraction to misery. The invite's title is cheeky and subtle. At first hand, it appears as a straight-cut reference to Angela's invite to welcome the new neighbors. But as the film reaches its climax, we realize that the title acts as a double reference to the neighbors' own invite for their wild sex parties. The parties that are happening around the main couple's home act as an antithesis to what is happening in their own home. They are characters of their own, loud, obnoxious, and liberated. They are poking fun at their misery. The dinner party is what forces them to confront the roots of their problems. the two women seem to dismiss and misunderstand the emerging role of feminism in the 60s and 70s. Ironically, they showcase over time how much in need of it they are. From their over-reliance on their husbands to entrapment in unhappy and toxic marriages. Beverly acknowledges that she would not have gotten married if they had lived together first. So why did she rush? Societal pressure, expectations, financial pressure perhaps? Whereas nowadays women are less likely to skip vital steps in order to ensure they're marrying the right person. So why is Angela a failed artist and an obsessive housewife in 2026? Because domestic responsibilities, pressure, and identity crisis are byproducts of every era. The context is what changes. Men are not immune to repression, disappointment, and frustration. They are emotionally paralyzed and detached. By the end of the film, they both end up on the floor, aching and helpless. The perfect ending: the body cannot lie. The body cannot indulge in disillusionment forever. Years of sexual frustration, financial anxieties, and career disappointments manifesting physically. The women in the film spend the entirety of it trying to be the perfect host. And by the end of it, it's the men that have collapsed. Double dates and dinner parties place mirrors across the room, where people quietly compare, judge each other, and question themselves. The films expose that the horrors of homes successful from the outside but unhappy on the inside are more common than we think. In Abigail's party, they invite people perform lies. It's a pressure cooker across two very different eras. They utilize things we are all familiar with: homes, marriages, possessions, and sexual identities. They reveal that everything can be a reminder of failure. Everything can become a distraction. And everything can be a lie.